Hey guys, Peter here to tell you about the latest from Zeal Ardor's self-titled Zeal Ardor, out February 11th on MVKA. The album has 14 tracks, 44 minutes in length, and this is the band's third full-length studio album. They are a Swiss avant-garde metal band. As far as the design of this record, this is an album that not many bands could put together and allow it to be as impactful as this one is. This record is very volatile, as normally the records of this band. They don't follow a specific pattern, they don't follow a specific path. The path keeps getting reshaped and redesigned with every step that you take. So all the volatility that exists in the record allows you to experience the different sides of the creative approach that this band has in store for the listener. Now, the way they designed this record, they started off with Zeal Ardor, an opening track that opens the doors not just for this record, but also for the band themselves. If you never heard them before, this song kind of gives you a glimpse of what's coming behind door number 2. And then the album finishes off with an incredible outro that's really the curtain coming down on this entire performance. In between those two songs, you have a lot of movement, you have a lot of shapes, you have a lot of sound experiences, you have a lot of things happening even from an atmospheric perspective that really pulls the listener in a lot of different directions. But all of them have the signature Zeal Ardor DNA to them. When you listen to this record, doesn't matter what song it is, the moment you press play, you need 2 seconds to know that you're listening to a Zeal Ardor song. And that is the glue that holds it all together. When you have the ability to create your own DNA, your own signature approach, you can go in a lot of different directions that it always feels like it's close to home. And that's exactly how this album is designed, not just from a structural perspective, but even from a soundscape approach. And speaking of that sound, this is a band that holds 2 genres or brings 2 genres together as the DNA, as the backbone of their sound experience. You have African American spiritual sound and you have black metal. Now, on this record, I felt like they opened the door to other genres, perhaps a little bit more than in past records, in order for their creativity to feel a little bit bigger, to have a little bit more room to grow, a little bit more room to move, and not feel restrained. You're going to see some pop elements, you're going to see some electronic elements, perhaps a little bit more, like I said, on this album than previous records, or at least a little bit more noticeable. But all of these things coming together just allows the sound to be very big, very robust, very different, very unique, and overall very heavy. If there is one thing that you take away from this album, is that there is a sense of heaviness, there is a sense of aggression, there is a sense of intensity that stays very constant from beginning all the way to the end. It's not there necessarily on every single song, otherwise you wouldn't have the volatility of sound and the volatility of experience. The album would be a lot more linear. But the impression that you get at the end of the album is this is perhaps their heaviest record to date in terms of the consistency of that heaviness through and through. Now, the drum sound on this album is phenomenal. It has substance, it has depth, and it helps expand the tracks, and it helps give the songs soul. This is a very soulful record, even in the moments where you feel the aggression and heaviness are perhaps dominating the soundscape of individual songs. The drums always have soul in them. And that is an important DNA, that's an important aspect of the band that I saw in previous records, and they're definitely moving it along and bringing that element into this album. The guitar sound on this record helps the direction of the songs. It also helps with the heaviness that the record holds. So perhaps an album that drives a little bit more off of the guitars, perhaps even more than previous albums, or at least once again becomes a little bit more apparent, because the way they constructed these tracks, you're very easily detecting the movement of the songs and what elements are creating that movement. I felt like the guitars were definitely one of them that carry the experience song in and song out throughout the entire record. The vocals on this album are phenomenal. There's a lot to digest vocally. The range is outstanding. From the harsh vocals to the screaming vocals to the cleaning vocals, taking a little bit down, moving it a notch lower in order to create a little bit of more darkness, bringing a little bit of a somber nature in terms of the approach. Everything that you get out of the vocals on this record is spot on. The layers, the backing vocals, the singing, the power that those backing vocals offer, the performance, the lyrical content, the way it jumps out, you feel like you're there, you feel like you're part of the experience. At times you really feel like they're singing around of you, like everything is surrounding you, everything, not just the vocals but the sound itself. The mixing on this album is phenomenal from that perspective, allowing movement, allowing shapes to be created as you're listening to them. But the vocal performance really stands out as far as one of the highlights of the entire album. It brings a lot of life to the experience, it brings a lot of energy, and it really pushes some of these songs in very unique directions. Some of the heavier tracks really feel heavy because the vocals behind them increase that level of heaviness. And sometimes they break apart and bring the song down while the volume is bringing them up. Really interesting movement. The vocals work as another element, as another instrument throughout the entire creation of this album. This is a phenomenal record. This is a phenomenal band. A band that has really no borders as far as what they can do, what they can deliver, the experiences that they can give to the listener. I feel like this is a band that even label them as avant-garde doesn't really suit them, because they are just so unique in what they do and the sound that they create that they don't really have a label to go under. Just great music by great musicians. This album is phenomenal from start to finish. Everything that it offers feels new, feels fresh. It's an album that has incredible playability because you never get bored of experiencing, not listening, experience these songs over and over and over again. As far as favorite tracks are concerned, I want to start off with Death to the Holy. Incredible drum sound. I really love the drums. In the beginning, when you get those drums, you get the vocals coming right after, and then you get this underlying keys that create this trifecta of sound and experience that becomes the opening of the track itself. Then the heaviness comes in, then the volume increases, the track becomes a lot more robust from that perspective, both musically and vocally. So immediately you see the dynamic that this song is going to have going forward. A track that moves a lot, that brings you from a deep ground place, a place of somberness, a place of darkness, and then it elevates you with heaviness and volume in order to bring you all the way up to the light. That's the movement, and that movement stays true from start all the way to finish, making the song very engaging, making the song very energetic all the way through. Next you have Feed the Machine, a very soulful intro, and that was a really interesting way of approaching this track, because it's a short track, it's a track that packs a lot of power. It comes at you fast, quick, with heaviness, intensity, and aggression all mixed in as one. The vocals match the intensity of the sound. I really felt like this was a track where the two elements were really cooperating with one another. Where the song goes musically, it also goes vocally. So you're gonna get the two elements working in parallel, in unison, in order to create a more substantial movement from moments to moments within the song themselves. So it doesn't stay linear, it's volatile, but it's volatile in a very compact kind of way, because both main elements are moving in the exact same directions at the exact same time. I just like the overall experience that this track has, because it feels like it's coming at you very fast, then it pauses, it almost breaks, and then it jolts back again and it comes at you really fast again. So this complete clear cut between both momentums of the song create a lot of intensity and make the song feel a lot more energetic. Last but not least, I Caught You, a song that has great vocals. This is a track that lives off the vocals, and the vocals carry this song all the way through from start to finish. Great vocal performance all around. Incredible range. When you look at this song and you look at how it starts, how it moves, and all the different steps along the way that you get vocally, this is a very interesting track that has a lot to offer. Almost a microcosms of everything you're going to see throughout the entire album when it comes to a vocal performance. So this song encapsulates the complete range of vocals that you get on the entire record in just one single song. The guitar and drums add to the experience, but I really feel like this is a song that's vocally driven. Everything else, either be the guitars, drums, bass, they're just there to kind of compact the sound, to make the sound feel a little bit more complete and give almost a roadmap, an avenue for those vocals to travel on. That's the kind of the design you're going to get with I Caught You. This is it, Zeal Ardor, self-titled Zeal Ardor, out February 11th on MVKA. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.